Greetings, everyone. This is Fadi, and I want to welcome you back to our video series on various examples of intentional Quranic translation, in this case in English, of course, that do actually muddy the water, if you wish. They do not clarify what the Arabic is saying, but rather they push towards you, the reader, the standard Islamic narrative understanding of certain words or certain interpretations of these verses. Of course, our guest speaker, who has been doing an amazing job for us throughout this video series, Saint Murad, has been showing us one example after the other. Today, he is going to also continue with showing us more examples, and we are still in one of those categories of errors or intentional mistakes. And this category is called the Quranic translations that are based on the standard Islamic narrative. Saint Murad, welcome back.
Thank you for having me once again. Tonight we have the finale of the sin-based translations. Now, just going straight into my screen, this upcoming example is shameful, as it really shows how Quran translators deceive people. This is the Arabic verse, and this is the word under the microscope. It says in the Arabic, يَعْرِفُونَهُ. And before I go on, I will ask you, what does يَعْرِفُونَهُ mean in this sentence?
Well, I mean, if I look at it just that way, it means they know it.
So they recognize it. And actually, from the context, it's they recognize it, meaning this truth or that fact. What should a translator with dignity do about this verse? Translate it as recognize it and let the reader sense the meaning from the context. Why? Because the reader is an adult. But would a Quran translator do that? Never. They must direct you towards their propaganda. So Quran translators actually split into three groups. Group one, they said recognize it, and then they added the Quran. Group two, they said recognize him, and then they added Muhammad. And group three, they said recognize this, just to run away from the situation. What do you think, even before I start?
Well, I mean, I don't see any of them, of course, in the Arabic verse.
Exactly. So it says يعرفونه, meaning they recognize it. But as you can see, Sahih International, they said recognize it, but they didn't let it just slip. They said the Quran also interpreted as him, meaning Muhammad, and they say Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. This is all an addition.
Right.
And then here, Pickthall, he says, recognize this revelation. This is just fraud. I think you agree with me.
Yeah, of course. I mean, I'm not really so sure why don't they at least stick to the kitab, the book, at least, if they want to go that far.
Yeah, because you can make multiple assumptions. They don't want that. They just want to lock you into the sin, into the Quran. That's the reality.
Right.
Now here, this is group two. I call them the dishonest group. They say recognize him to be the true prophet. And Taqi Osmani, he says recognize him, the messenger. And here, Hilali and Khan, they are really having a field trip. They say recognize him, and they add Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and there is no God but Allah, and he just keeps writing an essay. You see, this is group two.
Yeah.
Group three, I call them the great escape. They say know this or recognize this, so that they run away from the situation because they can't just write recognize it. It will be a problem for them.
I mean, what's so funny here is that the ha at the end, who basically the personal pronoun, you can make a case that it's referring back to the noun al-kitab, the book. Those that we have given them the book, they know it. So you can make the argument that they know the book.
Exactly. But they don't want you to just know that. They want to complicate things. They want to take everything out of context and put it in the standard Islamic narrative cage.
Because
That's why,
exactly,
yeah.
because the book could apply to other books, by the way. It's not the Quran, it could be the Bible, it could be anything else that is referred to here.
Yeah, and if they do that, then they will not take points from Allah. They will not be good Muslims. To be a good Muslim, you have to try your best to trick non Muslims into believing that everything in the Quran has to do with the standard narrative, the sin. That's the reality of the situation.
Right.
Now we will move to another category, which is Arabic mistakes. Now, these people, I argue, they also do not know Arabic. Let's see here the word asbāṭ, for example. They say asbāṭ, it means tribes. Wrong. Tribes is qaba'il, not asbāṭ. This is clumsiness.
Right.
Descendants is also wrong. The correct word is a very specific type of grandchildren, which is in my translation. This specific word has to do with the daughter. So it's grandchildren through one's daughter specifically. But this is something that they didn't look into it because they do not care. What do you think?
Of course, I mean, like you stated, the minute you hear the word sibt or asbāṭ, because people have been programmed or conditioned to think of it as tribes, that's exactly where they're going to go.
Yeah, and also the problem is if they know the reality of the word asbāṭ, it might strengthen the whole Jewish idea of how they actually are the rightful owners of Jerusalem because of this whole genealogy thing. So they never use that. This is the problem.
Right.
Now, 17, this is a blunt mistake. This is something that's funny. As you can see in the Arabic, it says, وَأَصْحَابُ الْمَشْأَمَةِ مَا أَصْحَابُ الْمَشْأَمَةِ. What is al-mash'ama? What do you think?
Well, I mean, obviously, it's talking about a specific group, and I would take it here either specifically a location or something belong to them, or maybe even something negative that applies to them.
So here, Mustafa Khattabi says the people of the left. Now, what's funny is because he saw the verse which precedes this, it says, Ashabul Maymana. So he thinks these are the people of the right and the left. And here,
Right.
Sahih International, they say the left, and here also left hand. So people of the left hand. But reality is mash'ama, it comes from the Arabic shu'm, means pessimism.
Right.
It has nothing to do with hands. Why do they have it as left hand? Ask them. This is not something that I know. But it's Ashabul Mash'ama, meaning those who will be pessimistic in the afterlife. What do you think of this one?
Yeah, and when you talk about the people on the right, I mean, here I think it's kind of a good example of how the Bible probably, or obsession with teachings in the Bible by Jesus, could have influenced this. Because in the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 25, starting from verses 31 all the way to the end, Jesus says that he himself is going to come in his glory, bring in his angels, and they're going to bring all people to him, the living and the dead, and he's going to separate them to the right and to the left. And it seemed like that's the direction they're taking.
Yes, this is probably right. This is something I didn't really think about. This is correct.
Yeah.
Now, we will move to another one, which is the word ummah. What does the word ummah mean? What do
Yeah.
you know about ummah?
Again, if you're asking me, the way I've been influenced to think about it, of course, it will mean a nation, maybe, or a group of people, if you wish.
Yeah. But here, Mustafa Khattab, he doesn't like that. He says, religion. This religion of yours is only one. And here, Sahih International says, your religion is one. Because they are not happy with the word ummah, meaning the sons of Israel here. They do
Right.
not want that.
Religion is deen, so the author could have used it here when it's been used in other places.
Exactly. Will they withstand this position in another context? Let's see. Here, ummah, they say a particular way or a religion. Again, this is fraud. This is just wrong. Now, what about here? This verse, I really love it because it's very neutral and it shows you exactly what ummah means. It says, ولا طائر يطير بجناحيه إلا أمما أمثالكم. So now they are stuck because it's talking about birds, and birds are communities like us. They are not religion.
That's right.
So now it's communities. They are back to communities because birds can't be religion. So they shot themselves in the foot using just their own translation. You see?
Right.
Now here, ربنا واجعلنا مسلمين لك ومن ذريتنا أمة.
There's
So
a
now
nation.
it's a nation
Yeah, exactly.
because it's the Muslim nation. So now it's not a community, it's not a religion. You see, these people, they just tap dance and they actually have no dignity when translating. Now, another thing which shows that these people do not know Arabic is the word imlaq. What does imlaq mean? This is a long one, so I will prefer to leave it for the next episode, and I will just ask you, what do you think so far of the progress?
Absolutely, it's fascinating, and I'm hoping that those who are watching this, whether they're Muslims or non-Muslims, Arab or non-Arabs, that they're taking notes. And I encourage them, of course, highly to go and examine these translations that you have done, so that they have it at their hand as basically a tool that they can use. And I encourage them also to begin to explore every single translation they come across. And of course, if you're an Arab speaker, why not consult with other dictionaries, not necessarily those that are influenced by the Islamic teaching, but rather just try to be honest with yourself and look at the words, the root of these words, and how it is applied. And could it mean something different than what the translator are trying to tell you? Thank you again, Saint Murad, and thank you everyone for watching. Until next episode, everyone, have a blessed day. Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, share, and comment. And ring the bell so you will be notified when we release new content. Our mission is to reach Muslims with the gospel of Jesus Christ and help Christians engage with their Muslim neighbors. If you want to join us in this life-changing work, please support us on patreon.com/CIRA International, or just click on the link below.